Hey everybody, it's me. I am live. And if you guys can hear me, please start typing comments so I know that I'm live. If you can see in the background behind me, this is what we're talking about. Scam 1992, Sony Liv की नई series, The Harshad Mehta Story. इसके बारे में बात करेंगे अभी हम. But if you guys can see me and hear me, and if you agree that I'm live, please join in. This is like the weirdest part of doing a live broadcast because जब ये बाद में यूट्यूब पर जाता है इट्स लाइक पहले 3-4 मिनट तो इंसान बकवास ही कर रहा होता है सो आई एम गोना गो स्ट्रेट इनटू इट हाय अनीशा हाय एवरीबॉडी सो there you go. I'm using like a fancy software and all. It's a website. It's not really a software. You just sign in and you press a couple of buttons and just things work out. So that's what we're doing. We're talking about Scam 1992 and I am going to be highlighting your comments today. What? Hi, everybody. Hello. Everything seems fine. Thank you so much for saying that. This is what we're doing. We're talking about Scam 1992 on Sony Liv. And this is a spoiler chat. So let us begin with just some generic observations. First up, this is not a review. So I just want to talk about the show with you guys. And I want to be taking your comments. I'm going to be highlighting your comments here as well. शो बहुत सही है सोनी लिव की मेंबरशिप खरीदने का फाइनली एक रीजन मिल गया which was long something that I hadn't done ever purchase a Sony Liv membership but I think I should have seen the show much before it did all the buzz on social media because Sony Liv needed to promote this show a little bit more. Frankly, not enough people know about this show. Thank you so much for joining in, you guys. Hansal Mehta is GOAT, yaar. He really is GOAT. For everybody who's unaware, GOAT is greatest of all time. There have been a few misfires, but I really quite enjoy his work. And I think he's a very well-intentioned filmmaker and writer. So I really enjoyed Scam. Now, is there anybody here who did not like this show? I want to hear from you guys first. Hey, I love how punctual you are. I'm very punctual, girl. I'm properly on time. So if there's anyone who did not like Scam, let's get that out of the way first. Let's hear from you guys why you did not like the show. If there's anyone who actually did not like the show, but until then, there is something to be said about the technicalities of the stock market, right? रेज योर हैंड अगर पूरा शो देखने के बावजूद भी आपको समझ में नहीं आया कि बेयर्स क्या होते हैं और बुल्स क्या होते हैं मतलब जो फर्स्ट एपिसोड में प्रतीक गांधी के कैरेक्टर ने समझा दिया था हर्षद मेहता ने कि बेयर्स होते हैं जो से पंजा मार के नीचे गिराते हैं और बुल्स होते हैं जो से हॉर्न मार के ऊपर चढ़ाते हैं वो एक किंडरगार्टन एक्सप्लेनेशन के आगे मुझे समझ नहीं आया कि बेयर्स और बुल्स क्या होते हैं बट हैविंग सेड दैट द मोर यू गॉट इन्वॉल्व्ड इन द शो इट डिडंट फील लाइक दैट यू वर काइंड ऑफ not following what was going on because you didn't understand the technicalities of it. Sometimes, you know, when you watch movies like Moneyball, for instance, I remember watching it many years ago and I haven't revisited the film. Maybe I'll feel differently when I do. But when I watched Moneyball for the first time, मुझे बहुत सारी चीजें समझ में नहीं आई थी because it got like little too technical for me. So this time it was quite nice to realize कि अगर technical आप नहीं भी होते हो तो भी आपको चीजें समझ में आ जाएंगी कोई टेंशन नहीं है. Raise his hand violently. Why are you raising your hand, Aryan? Yeah. Because you didn't understand bears and bulls, correct. Lots of people like the show. Chetan has a little bit of a different opinion. He says that he thinks that it's overrated. Sure, you know. Anisha Roy says that she thought that the dialogue were very information heavy. Maybe. But I thought that the dialogue was quite nice. I thought that the show managed to, the show achieved entertainment along with information, which was really good, and a great star cast put together. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is maybe let's get straight into Big Shot is the bar. Big Shot भी मेरे को समझ में नहीं आती अरविंद मैंने बड़ी बहुत क्या स्टार कास्ट है इतने सुंदर लड़के हैं उस पिक्चर में देखने के लिए पर मुझे वो फिल्म समझ ही नहीं आई कि हुआ क्या शॉर्ट करना क्या होता है फलाना ढिमकाना. And my poor chartered accountant has tried to teach me all of these things. I just do not understand any of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go straight into the episodes, and I have my notes here in my little notebook. And let's visit it episode by episode, and let's start with the first one. First episode right here. Risk Se Ishq. Sony Liv needed to promote this series a whole lot more. मैं पीछे टीवी पे भी चेंज कर दूं. ये लो जी. फर्स्ट एपिसोड का स्क्रीन सेवर लगा दिया हमने. रिस्क से इश्क. आई हैव कम फुली प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर दिस लाइव ब्रॉडकास्ट इन केस यू गाइस डिडंट रियलाइज. वैसे मैं ये स्ट्रीम ऐड का फ्री वर्जन यूज कर रही हूँ इसलिए यहाँ पे ना कोने में ये दिस लोगो इज देयर. मे बी व्हेन आई अपग्रेड टू अ नॉट फ्री वर्जन आई विल बी एबल टू गेट रिड ऑफ दिस but it's a cute little duck. All right, so first episode starts. It sucks you right in, and I think that Sony Liv needed to promote the show a little bit more so that we realize how good it is, without having to wait for it to go viral. And we could have jumped into the show much sooner than we did. This episode gives you the line of the series, risk hai to ishq hai. I know some people are saying that it's kind of cheesy, but you know what? I quite enjoyed it. I enjoyed the lines, I enjoyed the dialogue. And the first episode only gives you the dialogue of the series, risk hai to ishq hai, which was very nice. Yeah, there you go. Ananya really liked the dialogue writing and research. Yeah, properly. Hansal Mehta really went into the professional nitty-gritties and details of it, which is amazing. And co-director Jay Mehta also. They really researched the space. And this is something Paul Thomas Anderson does. And I'm not drawing a comparison between Hansal Mehta and Paul Thomas Anderson, just because PTA is the top of my mind right now. And as you're aware, I'm working on this gigantic video with Vinit Masram where we are talking about all the films PTA has ever made. But this is what he does in his films. He goes into the professions that he's talking about, whether it is his very first film, Hard Eight. He goes into the profession, into gambling, what it's done, up until Phantom Thread. Every little detail of the House of Woodcock is well researched. There's so much respect for the work that's going on. So here also in Scam 92, even though we are kind of looking down upon the people who are cheating the system and fooling the system, especially banks, the respect for the profession and for the people who are in this profession is very, very high. There is some questionable CGI in the first episode, I'm not going to lie, when they're sitting in their car and you're trying to show a 90s Mumbai, maybe a little bit. Enjoying my enthusiasm, Tushar. Thank you so much. I know, right? Look at all this prep that I've done. I have the screen, I have my table, my light, and all these little things, and I've taught myself all of this. I'm just really, really excited. Quite a contrast between Chhalang and Scam. Mehta is amazing. He can do everything. I agree. Chhalang, I don't know if he can do everything. Nobody can do everything. But the Chhalang trailer is looking kind of interesting. I'm not a big fan of the trailer. I think I'll wait to reserve my judgment when I actually see the film. In the first episode, you meet R.K. Lakshman, which is just a really nice little thing. Like, they didn't have to put R.K. Lakshman in there, but you're talking about times of India from the early 90s when R.K. Lakshman and the Common Man were a big thing, and they decided to introduce R.K. Lakshman's, like an actor playing R.K. Lakshman, and I thought that was very, very sweet. All right, let's see if there's other questions we have. Pranav is asking if it's worth buying Sony Liv for this one series. I would strongly say that yes. Yes, it definitely is worth buying the Sony Liv membership. The actor playing the lead character is a revelation. That's Pratik Gandhi. I haven't seen him anywhere, but would definitely love to see him more. Nice hair. Thanks, man. Yeah, for sure. I've been watching interviews of his because to me also he was a new actor, and I've been watching interviews, and apparently he's been doing this for like over a decade now, and finally something has worked out. How amazing is Shreya Dhanwanthary? Shreya Dhanwanthary, who we last saw in that Manoj Bajpayee series, Family Man. She was in Family Man. She plays the new recruit who goes on cases and things like that, and she's kicking some ass. She's amazing. She's a lovely human. I've had the good fortune of spending some time with her, and she's really, really amazing as Sucharita Dalal. The perfect adversary. And then also Sucheta Dalal's character also later on in the future episodes that we'll come to later has a lot of humanity in it also, and she brings out the, because the stock market is very, very serious. It's very, very like technical. It's numbers, it's math, it's money. And Sucheta Dalal brings out the humanity just by being the one humane lead character in the series. Everyone else's humanity also comes into focus. And I thought Shreya just knocked it out, knocked it out of the park. She was very, very good. Let's see what else. The opening sequence. Now, because we're on the first episode, let's talk about the opening sequence this one time. It reminded me of Mad Men a little bit, if you remember. He's falling, there's these buildings. Did anybody feel that? I'm going to wait to hear from you guys if you guys felt that the opening sequence reminded you a little bit of Mad Men as well. R.K. Lakshman scenes were goosebumps. It was really nice. Tell something about Pratik Gandhi. I don't know anything about Pratik Gandhi. What can I tell you? Watch his interviews. He sounds like a really brilliant guy. And a pretty great actor, obviously. Yeah, Shreya Dhanwanthary lit up the screen every time she came in. No, you know what, Rushi, I'm going to address this. No, wait, sorry. Wrong question. Yeah, the question I'm going to address is this. Bhavesh is saying, do you feel the series unintentionally has portrayed Harshad as a hero / victim of the surroundings, just like Sanju? See, nothing is black or white. Everything is gray. So when Harshad starts out in the beginning, and it's such a wonderful progression and increased conflict in the episodes, that in the beginning you feel bad for him. In the beginning, you want him to succeed when he's just a jobber and he's learning the skills. You want him to succeed. Hansal Mehta and Jay Mehta take you to a point mid-series where you're at par with him, where you're like, all right, you've achieved this, I'm happy for you. But then the Icarus story begins. The Icarus story is the trajectory where you fly too close to the sun and your wings melt and you die. It's a classic storytelling format. So that's when the Icarus story begins, when he flies too close to the sun. And then his downfall, you don't feel bad for him. And I think that they managed to really complicate and address and increase the conflict continuously as the series went on. So, Bhavesh, I do not think that the series is intended for you to feel bad for Harshad Mehta. It's intended to make you question ethics and question your own morality via this man, via this story. The opening sequence showed us like the whole downfall of Harshad. Sure, he's he's literally falling. I get it. Yes, it reminded me of Mad Men too. Who said that? Who said that? There we go. Sayali just said, yeah, it kind of does remind you of Mad Men, doesn't it? Okay, so पूरा सीरीज खत्म हो गया. वो उस स्टॉक मार्केट के मॉशपिट में क्या होता है एग्जैक्टली मुझे अभी तक समझ नहीं आया, एंड दैट्स फाइन. So yeah, to this question that I was just talking about, you want to root for Harshad Mehta because he's trying to scam a system that is rigged against the poor. If you're an outsider, the system is rigged against you and he's trying to scam that system. And you kind of are rooting for him, but you kind of like, me, what should I be? So then your kind of morality comes into play and it gets really fun. The intro music was one which I couldn't skip for any episode. Yeah, for real. Who's Achin Thakkar? Your name is Varun. Okay, now let's move on to the second episode. Let's move on to Cobra Killer. Oh, so Harshad is a mansplainer. Now, this is when you kind of realize that Harshad Mehta might not be as simple and as nice and as sweet a guy as we thought that he was. Let's go to the second episode right here. He might not be as nice and sweet a guy as we thought. He's a mansplainer. He's mansplaining to everybody, but he's not. He's still not obnoxious. He's not gotten to that point yet. So episode 2, you're still kind of discovering his humanity. Let me take a few more comments here. Let's see. The background music was really good. Yeah. Last episode पर हम आएंगे आशुतोष, रुक जाओ एक second. Okay, so this is the time when you kind of come across a moment which is the all is lost moment, right? When the brothers lose all the money and their father tries to sell off his property to, Achint is the composer. Sorry, Arvind. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Then the father is trying to sell property and the cinematography is really good, and we'll talk about the cinematography shortly. They're sitting in the shadows at this point. They're wearing their simple clothes because they're still not rich, and they're sitting in the shadows when they're sitting across from that guy जिसने उनकी trading बंद करा दी है. And that's a really nice sequence where you're still getting to know the humanity of the characters here. Butterflies meet your bhavras. Oh my god, that character, I forget his name. Just really amazing how, जब आप ऐसे कैरेक्टर्स को मिलते हो, हर्षद मेहता जैसे कैरेक्टर्स को, तो जब वो गलत काम कर रहे हैं पर वो आगे सक्सीड कर रहे हैं, जैसे मैं अभी भी बोल रही थी कि आपको पता है कि वो गलत काम कर रहे हैं और आप उनके लिए रूट नहीं करना चाहते हो, पर जब वो ऐसे लोगों के बीच में उठ बैठ रहे हैं, where you see those parties, where you hear this line, butterflies meet your bhavras, and you're like, इन लोगों को तो स्कैम करना बनता है ना, little bit. Leaving the stream to avoid any more spoilers. Literally title में लिखा हुआ है spoilers, thumbnail पे लिखा हुआ है spoilers नहीं चाहिए तो काय आया यार. The show does a great job of exposing the flaws in financial industry as a whole. Yeah, no, Pranav Seth, yes. Pranav Seth is who I'm talking about. Thank you, Kayur. There's in this episode you see 80s Mumbai, and it's quite cool. Aerial shots of what 80s Mumbai must have been like. There's some CG involved here, and it's quite cool. Also, मतलब guys, मैं यहाँ पे review नहीं कर रही हूँ, तो अगर आपको कमेंट्स देने हैं, अगर आपको अपना ओपिनियन बताना है इस शो के बारे में, तो आप करते जाओ, बिकॉज लाइक एज यू कैन सी आई एम पिनिंग कमेंट्स हियर, एंड इसलिए मैं नीचे टिकर चलाया हुआ है कि ये स्पॉइलर चैट है. सो इफ देयर इज एनीथिंग दैट यू गाइस वांट टू से, आई एम गोइंग टू pin it. Yeah, no, absolutely. I remember seeing him in lots of films, and I really remember seeing him in Tere Bin Laden. That film is like about 10, 11 years ago old. And I think he was in that film also, and he was damn funny. He was damn funny. In this episode also, you kind of realize that Sucheta Dalal is doing, I realized that Sucheta Dalal is doing a report on Dalal Street, and I thought it was quite funny. Okay, so not Shadab Hashmi, Sharib Hashmi. Yeah, he had a very short role. I was expecting to see more of him because he's such a phenomenal actor. But nahi aaye to main kya kare? Aur kya puche? Do you think that many Indian web series are not actually series? They're full movies, cut like a series, but these kind of storytelling are actually like international TV series. Infinite Raj, you know, it's web series ka format India mein on a big scale, I think started with Sacred Games. Correct me if I'm wrong. And since then, I think a lot of it has kind of stayed, gotten worse and gotten better. 1992 Scam 992 is just, it's the perfect way to do a web series, I think, because usually in a film such as this, what would happen is, and exactly what happened with Sanju and what even happened with Shakuntala Devi, it gets episodic. And then what ends up happening is that instead of showing us a full film with a beginning, middle, and end, you're showing us many little episodes from their life with many beginnings, many middles, and many ends. And even if you remove one or two from the middle, it won't really make a difference, and it doesn't feel like a complete thing. But with a web series, it feels like it is complete, and it felt like the episodes were justified, and every episode had a little something that the previous episode did not. So yeah, Pratik Gandhi is OP up, totes, and he's really cute, man. Like, you see his pictures and stuff. He's a very cute man. Well, I think we go from one episode to another. It felt a bit disconnected. All right. Well, if it felt that way to you, Sarthi, it did not feel that way to me at all. I thought it was quite connected. All right. One of my favorite scenes from this show was Bhushan explaining hand gestures to Harshad in the first episode. Absolutely. Like I said, first episode में जितना उन्होंने समझा दिया कि bear क्या होते हैं और bulls क्या होते हैं, और ये hand gestures 1, 2, something, उसके आगे मुझे कुछ समझ नहीं आया. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the third episode, which is titled Paise Ki Dukaan. Now let's talk about cinematographer Pratham Mehta, who I think might be the star of this show. Yes, Smart TV पे हम episode 3 पे चले गए हैं, जो आ ही नहीं रहा स्क्रीन पे. आ गया. There we go. Pratham Mehta is amazing. I saw some behind the scenes photos and some videos of like them, because they're in the mosh pit and so much is happening and so much is going on, and there's aerial shots of Mumbai, a whole lot of things. So if you can get access, or not even access, just like Google it, if you see behind the scenes footage and videos. Hansal Mehta, the director, has been putting out posts about the team that made the show. So if you get access to that, check it out. I think Pratham Mehta is just very, very good as cinematographer on the show. Let's see some more comments here. Till the crossover, we saw through Sucheta's perspective and then through Harshad's perspective. No, I think it kept switching. I think that's what I remember from watching it. Mursadal says, do you think Sony Liv is making really good series and will be overshadowing Netflix and Amazon? Do you work for Sony Liv, Mursadal? I don't know who's going to overshadow whom, but yeah, that theme song. Yup, really binds the, where is that? Color palette. Yes. Anane, I agree. And this was the problem, I think, with The Suitable Boy, jiske baare mein hum ek aur live stream karenge. Here, what happened was really good in Scam 92 is that the color palette really came together, the clothes came together, the grain of the texture of the visuals came together, and he uses music to tell you about the eras. There's Ilu Ilu, then there's other music, you can hear radio, and then he uses landmark moments, like the assassination of the Prime Minister, to bring everything together. And yes, the color palette, definitely, jo Suitable Boy mein nahi ho paya. Suitable Boy, even though it's visually stunning, it's great, good work, but it just did not, like, I really had to surrender myself to really believe that you're in the 1950s, which I achieved because I really focused onto the show. But with Scam 1992, I didn't have to work that hard. It took me straight to late 70s, then 80s, and then the early 90s. I mean, I don't know when he shot the show. I think they began writing the show in 2017, if I've read that correctly, which is wow. What is a color palette? I used to look it up. I was talking about when they crossed the staircase. One went up, Sucheta, and Harshad was coming down. That's right. When they cross each other, it's that one long scene without cuts when Harshad is just kind of getting to meet, other brokers, and Sucheta is still just kind of figuring out what she wants to do at Times of India. Yeah, okay. So I take that point, and it's really nice. Again, like I said, cinematography. It's a really, really nice sequence. It's very long without a cut. Very good. Now, what also happens, if you begin to observe here, his affluence in episode 3 is increasing, and it begin. Hansal Mehta takes food, and he uses food to show how his affluence is increasing. In the first episode, you see the two brothers, the father, mother, and the one wife. Yeah, there's only one wife at that point. They're sitting on the floor in the tiny apartment, in a tiny room. There's one bed here, one something here, and they're sitting on the floor, all 5, 6 of them, and the bahu is standing, and everyone's eating from their plates, and they're very happy, and they're having a conversation. The next time you see them eating at a restaurant. After that, you see them eating at on a dining table at home, and there's also conversations about why you're spending so much money on food. And I thought that was really interesting that you see his evolution in his affluence through the kind of food that he eats. Because हमें यही सिखाते हैं कि अच्छा खाओ और अच्छा पहनो, और इन दो रीजंस की वजह से, इन दो कारण की वजह से पैसे कमाने चाहिए, जिंदगी में बड़ा आदमी बनना चाहिए. So I imagine that somebody like Harshad Mehta, coming from that background, eating good food was one of his dreams. Let's see. Suitable Boy के बारे में अभी हम बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, guys. So let's not go there right now. Why? Okay. Because there was a lot of stuff to watch. I could not find the time to watch it. And also, these are long episodes. So it takes time to finish the whole thing. So it took me time to finish the whole thing along with my other work commitments. I admit I started it late. I should have started it sooner. But it's totally my fault. So I should have watched it sooner. But yeah, that's really the only reason why you're thinking that it was kind of late. Indian Ocean ka music hai na is series mein, which is quite nice also. I thought that in this episode, in episode 3, when his father dies, Harshad changes as a person, because it makes him think that here is this man who lived his whole life in fear. His whole life was about don't waste too much money, don't take a lot of risks, and he dies right before Harshad makes it big. And not even big yet, but he dies right before he could see that his son is doing really well, and that is a moment of shift in his character. And this is where Bhushan says the best dialogue he's ever had. What did he say? Papu dhadu. Tum papu dhadu ho kya? And I had to pause and go back, and I'm like, what is he saying? What is papu dhadu? If anybody remembers what the full form of papu dhadu, I have it here on my in my notes, but if you remember, say right now and I will highlight your comment. There's 80 people watching us live right now. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Acha. Good for you, Gaurav. Well done. Nobody remembers the full form of this abbreviation that Bhushan introduced into my life, Papu Dhadu. And he had a Pudinara before dying. I know, that's quite sad. It is Param Pujya Dharam Durandar. I think that's what it was. And I thought it was hilarious. Param Pujya Dharam Durandar. Matlab, jisko koi dar nahi lagta hai life mein. This is after his father dies, he begins to take more risks because he feels like he's not answerable to anybody anymore. And that's when you hear the line, Harshad Mehta line cross kar raha hai. So I thought that was pretty cool. All right, so now let's move on to our next episode. Harshad Mehta is a liar. All right, now his cockiness is getting on your nerves, because he's not worried. He doesn't care about people anymore. He's kind of now becoming that kind of rich man who only cares about increasing his riches. Especially he hires a PR team and they print an article which says Harshad Mehta is a liar, and then it goes on. So it's very cocky, and that now it begins to get on your nerves. I think this is the perfect midpoint of the series, because it's not the midpoint, we're getting to the midpoint because there's 10 episodes, we're getting to the midpoint, but now he's beginning to fly too close to the sun, and when somebody kind of gets cocky, you're like, all right, maybe not so much. Harshad is not scamming the bankers and other players in the market. He was essentially scamming the common people who have deposited money in SBI and other government banks. Correct. So this is when you begin to see that in this episode. In episode 4, you really begin to see that what is at stake here for all the shit that he's pulling. So, you kind of like, all right, maybe you don't have my support anymore, man. Maybe you don't have my allegiance anymore. Kuch to tum bakwas kar rahe ho yahan pe life mein. There you go. This is the episode where I was confused whether to like him or not. तो full caps में लिखेगा तो तेरे comment पे attention आ ही जाएगा मेरा मुर्सदुल. ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. I like your strategy. Yeah, dude. Pratik Gandhi just really comes into his own in this episode and just destroys everybody. Just कोई नहीं दिखाई देता उसके सामने. He's very cocky now. His swag is beginning to get annoying. And if you notice, he started to call people darling, which is not something that he did, which is something that other annoying broker man used to do, call people darling. So he started calling people darling because he feels like maybe this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what, when you get to this point and when you have this kind of money, this is what you're supposed to do. And I did not like that. And I think it's a very deliberate moment they've put in the show where he calls somebody darling, because they're trying to tell you, all right, he's kuch to bhi gadbad karne wala hai ye. Next scam should be about Nirav Modi. I really hope that Sony Liv has the good sense to continue this series with more real life stories like Nirav Modi. You know how Netflix does American Crime Story, and in every season there's a new one. There's O.J. Simpson, then there was the assassination of Gianni Versace. It's the same series but different people. So Scam 1992 was Harshad Mehta. Maybe there will be another Scam 2016. When did Nirav Modi happen? And then they'll continue another series. I really hope they do. And if Hansal Mehta comes back to direct, that'll be great also. Here in episode 4, you get an insight into Sucheta's investigation. And it is also a commentary showing you how much our media has changed since then, and how what media used to be like and what it is like now. So that was also pretty cool. No, yeah, I don't think it was too sympathetic. Let's see. This episode also reminded me of a series that I really absolutely love and enjoy, is the Hunger Games series. And when you watch the Hunger Games series back to back, and we watch all the movies together, the only thing that you leave that movie with, and of course the fact, other than Liam Hemsworth is just really hot, is that PR is everything. And in the future, in fact, we're living in that future right now, where PR controls the narrative of countries, of politics, of every decision that's taken on this planet is controlled by public relation executives. And this episode also takes you there, and it also kind of reminded me a little bit about that. So I'm not saying that the series reminds you of Hunger Games, but I'm saying that that is another film series. It's a series of films that tells you how important PR is. इंडिया में सबसे ज्यादा क्या मैन्युफैक्चर होता है? हीरो और भगवान. गिव मी अ हेल yeah. हीरो और भगवान, two things that you manufacture in India सबसे ज्यादा. Again, it's PR, right? That's really all it is. Okay. Ketan Parekh scam 2001 did work under Harshad Mehta. I do not know what this comment means. There you go. Let's see more comments. How they've refrained from showing unnecessary intimate scenes, didn't require it all in the show, and was done rightfully. I mean, yeah, intimate scenes are fine, but there weren't any in here, and that's also fine. I don't really have strong opinions on the lack of intimate scenes in this series. I just think that Shreya Dhanwanthary and her love story with Debu was just so cute. Oh, floppy disks. Also a great blast from the past in this episode. Am I right? When they try to save all their data and put it in their computers, and they take floppy disk. Floppy disk याद है यहाँ पे किसी को? Is anybody from my generation who used floppy disk? एक कंप्यूटर से निकाल के दूसरे में डालते, उतने में करप्ट हो जाती थी वो. उसमें ऐसे स्लाइडर होता था, टिंग टिंग टिंग, करप्ट करने के लिए. उसमें बैठ के ऐसे खेलते रहो. Damn fun. Damn fun. Yeah, okay. Mark Ruffalo didn't make Spotlight. Mark Ruffalo was an actor in Spotlight, but yes. I think Harshad Mehta said, Hansal Mehta, I keep calling him Harshad Mehta. Hansal Mehta also said in an interview something about Spotlight recently. So yeah, for sure. मेरे को गुजराती पढ़ने नहीं आती तो मैं attempt नहीं करूंगी, even though I'm pretty sure I can say what this says. I remember floppy disk. I know, right? Snigdhadev, proper floppy disk. Windows 1995. Oh, Ketan Parekh is another person who pulled off a scam in 2001. He worked under Harshad Mehta. Okay, there you go. I am not aware. 2001 I was like 12 or 13 years old. So whatever happened then, until unless it's been replicated in a movie or a series or something, I don't remember it. Let's move on. अरे हमने episode 4 तो दिखाया ही नहीं पीछे Harshad Mehta as a liar वाला. कोई बात नहीं. अब हम episode 5 की तरफ आ जाते हैं. Kundali में Shani. All right, this episode is called Kundali में Shani. Let me highlight it now. Right. All right. So who has any thoughts on this episode? Kundali mein Shani. Is the pace dipping a little bit? I felt that in the series at this midpoint, it kind of slowed down. And in this episode in particular, I had to work extra hard to stay interested in what was going on. Now, though, Harshad Mehta has fully transitioned into obnoxious. It's very clear that the Icarus plotline has started and इसका अभी downfall शुरू होने वाला है. The technical jargon I thought in this episode got a little bit much, and the energy got too masculine here. I think because you're right at the height of when things are about to tip and when things are about to fall. So it's all the men who were into the stock market at that time, right? With the mosh pit in the thing. I call it the mosh pit. I don't know what else it's called. And the Citibank employees and all the other employees. And I thought the energy got very, very masculine at this point in the series. And I was just really yearning to see more of Sucheta Dalal. Not because I like watching women on screen, I do. But just to kind of bring a different energy into the proceedings, into, just kind of take me away from the technical jargon a little bit. I felt that way. I don't know if you guys have actually thought in your head episode wise what happens, but ticker and all impressive. I know, right? Supratim, I worked hard on this, yeah. Even though you see this here, this thing, this free mein use kare na, to ye logo hai piche, but it's cute. Yeah, Arvind agrees with me. He says a bit of a nosedive in episode 5. Episode 6 picked it up. Yeah, and I really wanted more feminine energy. I wanted more personal stories here, which you see later on. I was yearning a little bit for humanity in a little bit. All right, so what else do I have here? Yeah, episode 5 was my least favorite episode in the series. Not to say that it's a bad episode. It's just, not my favorite episode. Who's Swamiji? I was just out with my father, and he lost some money he was telling me in the stock market at some point, and he told me that Swamiji was a real person who actually worked with P.V. Narasimha Rao. I don't remember any of that because I was too young. There's a Tyagi, played by Nikhil Dwivedi, who has a very interesting voice. I think Nikhil Dwivedi's voice is very interesting. And he has his sources, and he's always talking about his sources. My sources have told me this, and my sources have told me that, and I thought it was kind of strange. शनि तो मेरी कुंडली में भी है, अच्छी बात है. मुर्शिदुल, बस बहुत हो गए तुम्हारे comments, but yes, thanks for commenting so much. That's so cute. Floppy disk was the most reliable way to transfer Dig Dug and Space Invaders of Commodore 64. एक CPU से निकाल के दूसरे CPU में डालते थे, उतने में corrupt हो जाती थी. Who remembers CPUs here, guys? CPUs with a CD drive and a floppy drive and a little hole to put in the headphones. So cute. There's a Tyagi in every show nowadays. I wonder why that is. Are they trying to appeal to lots of Tyagis who live in lots of parts of North India? It is a very common name in Uttar Pradesh and things like that. किसी भी गांव में चले जाओ, वहाँ पे बहुत त्यागी मिलता है. I don't know. I don't really care. Okay, so now quickly let us move on. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm going to take one more comment here. Yes. Don't you think that slow burn episodes are necessary to build up series? For sure, for sure. And by episode 5, you're very invested in the series. So if there's a slower episode where the pace has dropped, that's fine, because then it's really about to go ta 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 ta. So let's see. Now let's go on to the next episode. I'm going to click here. Did I hear this line right? In the series, it says, time flows the way the times goes. This is when Sucheta is trying to get permission from her super boss to run the story that everybody else said that it's not really a story. And then I tried to search for this line on the internet and I didn't really find it anywhere when her super editor says to her, time flows the way the times goes. Did I hear this right? Because if I heard this right, I would like to hear from you guys. Yeah, Sunil Singh, also Hathoda Tyagi, and also like Kartik Aaryan's character was named Tyagi. And then I think there's a Tyagi playing in the IPL, but he's not a character. But that's what all my family talks about. Chandraswamy? No. I want to hear about this line. If I heard this right, you guys comment here and tell me that this line actually somebody says, right? Time flows the way the times goes. I know. By times, they mean the Times of India, or maybe it originated from the New York Times or whatever. But I don't know. It was not Tyagi, but Thyagu, a shortened name for Thayagarajan. Maybe. Did I hear that wrong entirely? Then people kept calling him Tyagi and Thyagu. And Tyagi and Thyagu. So I don't know. Maybe. Who was it? That's my name. Thank you. There's a Satyajit Ray homage in episode 6, which was pretty cool. And this is where you really get to know about his car, about the Lexus, which is pretty cool. Hansal Mehta just did an interview with the Huffington Post, which is very interesting, where he talks about how they managed to get the Lexus and what the Lexus is doing right now. They got the original Lexus, which how much money he paid for it then and adjusted for inflation. It's like some crazy amount of money right now. So let's take a few comments here right now. It is Tiago. What is this? The parrot from Lion King? No, not Lion King. Aladdin. Arabian Nights. Okay, interesting. Are you looking forward to the Big Bull movie? I had forgotten that they had announced the Big Bull with Abhishek Bachchan in the lead, and it's directed by Cookie Gulati. Abhishek Bachchan and Ileana De Cruz are starring in that film, and it's going to be on Disney Plus Hotstar. I'd entirely forgotten. And then when I was doing a little bit of research after watching the series, I realized, oh yeah, there's going to be I don't know. I mean, it could be interesting. And actually, I think they're at a definite, the challenge for them is much, much bigger now, because the series is done so well. There's been so much conversation around how great Scam 1992 is, and if the Big Bull is anything less than fantastic, I don't know, people are not going to be very kind to it. So it'll have to be really, really fantastic, and there's no way of knowing right now. Abhishek Bachchan is a fine performer, so it might turn out to be really good, because we saw him play a similar part in Guru, and not really a similar part, but kind of like playing with stocks and shares and things like that. Times is a flop magazine. Is Donald Trump, is that you? Yeah, I don't. Was it Tyagi or Thyagu or Tiogo? Because I entirely missed that, it seems. Oh, episode 7, Dalal Street Ka Dariya. Debu and Sucheta, oh my god, kiss each other already. They're so cute here. And say episode laga na maine, they're so cute together, and you really kind of want them to get together as a couple and be romantic, because like I said, abhi tak na, it got very, very masculine, and I was missing some kind of human touch and humanity and things like that. So that happened. The pace is picked up in this episode and it starts moving faster. There's the tense moments between the men and the impending crash and all the various things that are going to happen are very wonderfully and beautifully offset in this episode by the romantic scenes between Sucheta and Debu, and I thought that was really cute. Let me take a few more comments. Okay, hi Prakhar. I know for sure, dude. Sam, Big Bull has a mountain to climb, because the series is done so well and it is made so well. It definitely has a mountain to climb. I think Big Bull could be more like Guru, as in both the movie he played, he's playing a Gujarati guy. I mean, yeah, you can play all different kinds of Gujarati guys also. Ye kya baat hui? Okay, so that's really all I have about episode 7. I don't have a lot of insight. And what happens here is that you finally stop noticing. I finally stopped noticing the small, small details. And I was just really, at this point, invested in the people and not so much in what's happening in the stock market. So that was pretty cool. Yes. Oh my God. When they're climbing the stairs and then there's this really dilapidated building and she's, uh, you know, they're joking around and then they climb the stairs and she's like, "This is the Mazda office, by the way." So good, so good. Again, like they've taken away the technical jargon and they've brought the real things that you can understand and relate with. If the scam were to happen now, the investigative journalism would be of the same standard. I don't know, Snigdhadev, because the Nirav Modi scam did not happen a long time ago. It was just a few years ago. And I don't remember, I don't know if this investigative journalism, like if we got another Sucheta Dalal, but it was very well reported and widely reported. Mursadul, I will not pin your comment. And if you continue to irritate, I'm going to ban you. Do not, okay? Ungli pakad ke kandhe pe nahi chadhte hain. Behave. Um, okay, let's take this one. Did you have sympathy for Harshad Mehta after watching the series as he was only punished for crimes as per the series? What is your opinion? You have sympathy. Another Tyagi. I don't know. You have sympathy a little bit for the way that he dies. That's when you sympathize a little bit. And I did choke up a little bit. Because, he has a family and they show you his family at this point. When he dies, you know that his wife and his kids and his brother and his wife and all the people who depended on him. So you do feel bad for, you feel bad when any character dies in a series, unless they're really, really terrible people. All right, so let's move on to the next episode. Thank you, Apurva. That's very kind. वाह, बहुत देर हो गई, 42 मिनट से मैं बातें ही करे चली जा रही हूँ. मैटाडोर पे आ जाओ, चलो. मैटाडोर. मैटाडोर में आप you finally meet an adversary who is just as big of an a-hole as Harshad Mehta is, and it gets really interesting. The battle of the alphas, the ego clash of the alphas between this guy and Harshad Mehta. Because you don't like this guy also. You're not rooting for him because he's just as much of a beep hole as Harshad Mehta has now become, and you're not rooting for him. So it's just interesting to be an observer and to see how that's gonna pan out. The Bofors guy. Let's see. Let's take a few more comments here. I have more comments coming in. Yep, sure. I don't know what that means. Okay. Really, Tushar. Tantrik Kol Chandra Swami, he had influence on PV Narasimha Rao, so he became really popular when the latter became PM. And I've also heard that later on, this Chandra Swami came out in the open and talked about all the scams that happened and things like that. I'm not quite sure if that actually happened. So you kind of are annoyed with Ashwin a little bit in this episode, his brother, because he's a bit of a Debbie Downer. He's like always, ye ho jayega, wo ho jayega, aise kar doge, waise kar doge. And you're like, theek hai yaar, thoda sa relax a little bit. But then you stop yourself and you think, wait, am I becoming like Harshad Mehta? Ye iska bhai sahi to keh raha hai, because eventually you know how he ends up. So what his brother is saying, if he's being a Debbie Downer a little bit, no problem. The first suspicious death occurs in episode 8. What really bothered me, and I began to notice it in every other scene in this episode, was the lack of staff. There is just no staff at his house. Anytime उसके घर पे कोई रेड पड़ती है या कोई आता है, either the wives are opening the door or Harshad Mehta himself is opening the door or his brother is opening the door. You see his staff later on when Harshad returns home and there's one guy opening the door and things like that. But like for such a rich man who lives in such a fancy house, why is there never any staff? Why is there no people helping out in the house? And that kind of bothered me a little bit. Hi Likita, very kind, thank you. Te amo. Acha. Very good character, yeah. Very good character. Just yin to Harshad Mehta's yang, and then later on, like he's the only guy who stood by him. Blood is thicker than water, so to say. And then you read up about him a little bit, and he kind of went on and went on to do law, I think. So that was pretty cool. Madam IPL के टाइम में मत किया करो. मैं क्या करूँ भाई? मैं IPL नहीं देखती. बाद में देख लेना आप वीडियो, कोई बात नहीं. YouTube पर तो ये रहेगा live episode. You can come back and you watch this episode. No, yeah, correct. And at this point, also, you're thinking that there's no personal assistants, there's no lawyers, there's no line of defense. Like, why is this Madhavan guy just kind of attacking these people over and over again, just the way he wants to, without any line of defense in the middle? So that kind of also bothered me a little bit. The dialogue was very good, I thought, in this episode. The confrontations between the CBI and Harshad and his team, I thought that was very, very well written and very, very well done. Okay. Arey yaar, of course, Debulina, you should finish the series. Do it. Yeah, Vrinda, watch the series. I wouldn't actually be here and, spending an hour of my time talking about a series if I didn't have thoughts to share. Even though the next series that I'm going to be talking about is A Suitable Boy, which I just did not work for me, but we will do that live stream in a few days as well. All right. So who is ready to go? Which point, Arbaz? I don't know which point you're talking about. All right, so now let's go to the second last episode, Ek Crore Ka Suitcase. Now there is a lot of self-righteous indignation, my man. Yeah, because at this point, he's come back and he's telling people that, yeah, I did what I did because I gave them money. Let's move on to the next episode. He's coming back and he's saying, I gave them money. Why are you catching me? Why are you not catching the other people? Why are you not catching the prime minister? So there's a lot of indignation that's coming out in this, which was pretty cool. They call him the bull of Dalal Street. And do they call him the bull of Dalal Street in this episode? Or did I just write that down, the bull of Dalal Street? But I thought it is worth making a note. So that's what I did. When he goes back to the jail, when they put him in the constricted surroundings and he's sitting on the floor, it's a hark back to him sitting on the floor in his first episode and when we first meet him for the first time, and you feel like he fits right in, because even when he became this multi-millionaire billionaire who paid more advance tax than Dhirubhai Ambani at that point in time, he still kind of remained that guy from the inside. And that's why when you see him in the jail, you feel kind of bad for him, but he doesn't feel kind of out of place. And I think that's a wonderful testament to the interaction between the actor and the director and how they managed to pull that together. He doesn't like that everyone else is free except him. It's also a commentary the show is making about, if you go against the system will come for you. Doesn't matter who's right and who's wrong. Let's take a few comments at this point. Ram Jethmalani played him? Did he? I don't know. I don't know what really happened at that point. I'm doing my journalism. I would love to know your views on the Netflix Cargo. I would love to know about your views. Yeah, listen, I've already done a review of Cargo, yaar. Agar aapne nahi dekha, to main kya karu? Jaake dekho. There's a Manmohan Singh in this show, in this episode, which is pretty cool. One of the things that I really love about web series is the opportunity to cast good actors even in small parts, because there's so much room for performances. There's room for range. You can show what an actor is capable of, and you keep seeing interesting new faces crop up, which you've seen in other places, but you see them really perform, and I thought that was really good. Another thing that I did not like, though, in this episode is what Hansal Mehta also did in Omerta. Watching Omerta and watching Rajkumar Rao play that part, and then for some reason, it absurdly kept cutting to the real life footage of Daniel Pearl and his killers and what had happened back then, and it immediately took you out of the experience of being in that fictional universe, which is based on real life, that Hansal Mehta had created. And even though Omerta was a good film, but that was a jarring experience for me, and that's what happened in episode 9 as well. While it is interesting to see the real life footage of the actual Harshad Mehta giving that press conference sitting next to Ram Jethmalani, it took me out of that experience wherein I was convinced that Pratik Gandhi is Harshad Mehta, because it immediately reminds you that Pratik Gandhi is only an actor. This is the real Harshad Mehta, and that was a little bizarre, a little jarring for me. If you guys felt that way, please comment and let me know. I don't know, man. They must have taken permission. Sucharita Dalal, the writer, the author of the book. What was the book called? The Scam. Who won? Who lost? Who got away? Maybe they had taken permissions. I don't know. Hilarious. पता चलेगा जब उनकी picture आएगी. How that turns out. What happened in trial of the Chicago 7? Real life footage? No, but the real life footage didn't show the people who are the main characters in the show. Maybe it showed some footage of the riots and the protests, but it didn't really show you that Abby Hoffman is not actually Sacha Baron Cohen, it's somebody else. So maybe that, yeah. Okay, let's see what else we have in this episode. That's it. That's all the notes I have. It's a pretty great episode. And now we're moving on towards the penultimate, the ultimate episode. Episode number 10, मैं history बनाना चाहता हूँ. Bhushan has a straight up meltdown and it is so great. That is the best scene in the whole series, hands down. I will stake my reputation on it. Will I though? Bhushan has an epic meltdown in that room when he talks about कि इतने करोड़ के शेयर उसने बेच दिए, जितने पैसे आए उसने रख लिए, and I thought it was fabulous because घर का भेदी लंका ढाए, right? Harshad Mehta also tried to do this when he outed all those people involved in the Citibank scams because he's like मैं जाऊंगा तो मैं भी तुम्हें साथ में लेके जाऊंगा, and this is what this guy did also, and I just that scene and all the actors in the scene is just incredible. Let's see. Let's have some more comments here. हाँ जी जाओ मेरा बोराट का रिव्यू आप देख कर आओ जाओ 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 The series also helped to discover Kabir Cafe due to the absolutely amazing Mat Kar Maya Ko Ahankar song. That's true. Chirag Bora is a great actor. The meltdown moment when he yells and he says that तुमने हमेशा मुझे नौकर clerk बना के रख दिया. Oh ho ho. Yeah, because this is, he wanted to play God, right? That's what the title of the episode also suggests. मैं history बनाना चाहता हूँ, and he wanted to be this God figure, and this is when it came crashing down. And while you're watching this episode, you realize that you're watching the last episode. Like I said, I really really hope that Sony Liv has the internet slow हो गया पीछे बंद हो गया. I really really hope that Sony Liv has the good sense to bring back this series like the American Crime Story series with another scam later on. Yeah, and there's Pratish Nandi. You see Pratish Nandi in this episode, and it's just a great episode, and it's just a great way to end the series as well. And this might be a great way to end my live episode. Whatever, my TV is refusing to work. Let's see. What do I think of the IMDb rating? Justified. I mean, I don't really care about IMDb ratings, but if there's any show that deserves a high rating, it is this one. It is a pretty great show. Everyone is corrupt. In this, you realize Citibank, CBI, the Prime Minister's office. When the system wants to destroy you, it can. It doesn't matter if you've had a change of heart, but once you're involved with the wrong people, then that's it. You cannot get away from it. It's not something that just switch off and you get out of. Yeah, and it's not like with his incarceration and his eventual death in prison, anything stopped. Scams continue. We've seen the Netflix series Bad Boy Billionaires. All those scams happened after Harshad Mehta. Maybe the Sahara Shri scam was happening simultaneously, but the scams have not stopped, and the series doesn't give you hope. It doesn't end on a hopeful note. It doesn't say that we are trying to make our economic systems and our financial systems better. It doesn't say that Harshad Mehta got a fair deal in life. Nothing. It doesn't give you any hope in the end. It's just, this is how it is, and this is our nation, and this is what we're going to live with. No, I have not watched Haunting of the Hill House because I do not watch horror films. Yes, Puneet, of course I'm going to save the stream. It's going to be on my YouTube channel. All right, so I guess that's really it, you guys. That's all I have to say about the show. It leaves you with a feeling where because there's 10 episodes, it really invites you to get involved with Harshad Mehta and invites you to get involved with his life, and it makes you, in so many places, makes you feel that भाई अब बहुत हो गया, अब बहुत पैसे बना लिए तूने, अब बस बंद कर. You know what I'm saying? And it's, you're putting yourself in that situation where you're like, agar maine itne paise kama liye hote and if I had become the highest advanced taxpayer of the company, I would have stopped. So you want to implore to Harshad Mehta, you want to get inside the screen, be like, listen guys, stop, you have enough money, there's nothing more that you can do with the money that you made. You're still away from the law and you're not getting in trouble, get out of it. So that was a good achievement of the show, where it involved you and it invited you in, and it made you a part of the experience. I thought that was pretty cool. That's all I have to say, you guys. You guys want, I'm going to be talking about A Suitable Boy soon enough. So come back for that live stream in a few days. The latest episode on my channel is a review of Borat's subsequent movie film, which is hilarious, which is just a fabulous, fabulous show. Last time shout out nahi milega. Yeah, no, absolutely. This is definitely a web series you can watch with your family, because it doesn't have Gali Galoch more than, well, it's Satish Kaushik's character is just really abusive, but I guess that's the character and that's totally fine. Mursadul, I'm blocking you now. Yeah, no, he got greedy and everything. If there's any feedback you guys have on this live stream, and if there's any shows or films or series that you would like me to watch and talk to you guys about, please come and please comment here and let me know. And there's one more banner that I'm going to start, and I'm going to unpin this comment. I really hope that there will be a season 2, yeah. I really, really do hope there will be a season 2. Let's see. So please subscribe to my channel, share this video, and come talk to me later as well. I will be reading your comments. This live chat will be available on the channel, and I'll read all of this later. And if I want to respond to any of this, I will do that as well. My name is Dariya. Thank you so much for joining. Wow, we're down to 55 minutes. I'm hungry. Subscribe to the channel, you guys. Okay? All right, it's time for me to go. Good show. Sony Liv की membership आप खरीद लीजिए अगर आपने नहीं खरीदी, और देख लीजिए scam.